Okay, welcome back to the YouTube channel for yet another episode. If you don't know by now, I am Jake from Jake Meets Coaching. I'll drop, as ever, the Instagram handle below at Jake Meets Coaching. If you like this content, go and check out the Instagram page because there's tons of just little short fire videos, tips, tricks, everything like that. We're back again with another video to give you the simple fat loss and fitness, no BS advice that you need to start making some real positive changes. Now I've just put up a new desk in this room and a new setup. So hopefully this is going to work a little bit going forward. You can even see the drum kit behind me, which I also got about a week ago after having played for about 10 years. I've not played now for 4 or 5 and I decided to get back into it. So we've got a nice little electric drum kit in the background. What we're going to talk about today, I am going to cover one of the topics that comes up all the time and is one of the most popular, we'll call it what it is, excuses that people make for why they aren't able to lose weight or body fat or stick to a certain plan, and that is the slow metabolism. I'm going to be covering what people normally say around this topic. I'm going to be covering my thoughts on this topic and actually give you an insight into what's more than likely going on that's stopping you from dropping body fat or dropping weight that isn't your slow metabolism. So stick around because we're going to be jumping into that in just a minute. But before we go into that, like every week, if you like these videos, if you find this channel useful, even if there's just a tiny bit that you find helpful, please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your mates. If you've got a mate who you know makes this excuse that we're going to be covering today, who always turns around after 2 weeks of sticking to a diet and saying, it didn't work, I've got slow metabolism, stuff doesn't work the same for me, send them this video. Send them this video now because they're going to need to hear it. So if any of that applies to you, go ahead, click like, subscribe, and then once you've done that, let's jump into today's topic. Okay, so I have a slow metabolism. I've tried X, Y, Z diet and they just don't work for me because I have a slow metabolism. Losing body fat is harder for me because I have a slow metabolism and nothing just seems to work the same. We all know someone who's used that excuse, right? We all have mates that use that excuse all the time, and you know that actually it's probably nothing to do with their metabolism and it's more to do with the fact that they probably just aren't doing the basics right. You might even have said this yourself a few times and thought that maybe you've got a problem with your own metabolism because diets, training, everything like that just doesn't seem to work the same. Unfortunately, this is not going to be the case for 99% of us. There are some extreme cases of people who do actually have problems with their metabolisms. They might have an underactive thyroid, they might have some of their thyroid missing, issues like that. That is real, and those people do have genuine struggles. Those are not the people we're addressing today. We're addressing the people who think they have a self-diagnosed slow metabolism, but actually they're just missing the trick with what they should actually be doing. So typically you start to sort of tend to hear this excuse come about maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks into someone's following a diet plan and they've not really lost the weight they were wanting to lose, or changes are really, really slow and they're getting a bit fed up with it, they're getting a bit bored with it, they're probably looking for a bit of a way out from it. And this is the best reason as to why. So the blame doesn't fall onto them, right? So that they're not the one at fault. It's not their problem, it's the diet's fault. It isn't working, and that's because they've got a slow metabolism. Here's the thing, you don't, okay? Unfortunately, you don't. Problem is probably going to be a few different things. But that's not to say that you do actually have some involuntary things going on that are making fat loss harder for you, okay? So if you come from a family of people who are a little bit larger as well, maybe you've grown up in that environment where your mum, your dad, your brothers and sisters are all a little bit larger as well, and you've all collectively found it hard to lose weight over the years, there could be a reason for that. And the reason could be that you may fall into the category of people who, when consuming larger amounts of calories, don't move as much. So we know that when it comes to losing body fat, gaining body fat, it completely comes down to your calories in versus your calories out. How many calories you eat versus how many calories you expend. When we look at this calorie expenditure side of things, one of the biggest components after BMR, so your metabolic rate, which isn't slow, the biggest component after that that contributes towards the amount of calories you burn every day is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. We've mentioned this time and time again on the channel. Now, one thing that research has shown is that people who are naturally a little bit leaner, who lose weight a little bit easier, these people actually tend to move more when they eat larger amounts of calories. So the more food that they eat, they automatically, subconsciously start moving more. They might fidget more, they might walk around a little bit more. They start moving a little bit more without even thinking about it, which burns more calories and helps them to either stay lean or drop body fat much, much easier. That is a genuine thing. And then there are other people who struggle to diet, who find it harder to lose weight, who maybe blame the slow metabolism, who, for whatever reason, don't move more, the more food that they eat. They actually eat more calories and they move the exact same. Or alternatively, when they're dieting, they eat less calories and they start to move even less without thinking about it. They start to sit down for longer. They don't move around as much. They don't fidget quite as much. All of this has a massive effect on the amount of calories you burn, and then as a result, your total daily energy expenditure, which paired against your calories in is what we know dictates whether you gain weight or you lose weight. So this could be a genuine thing. This could be something that is out of your control, that your body automatically does when eating more or less calories. You might actually just be one of those people who, when they eat more, moves less, and when they eat less, also moves less, which will make fat loss harder, which will make dieting harder. However, there is an easy solution. Start tracking your movement. A really easy way you can get over this is just start tracking your steps. Keep an active log of how many steps you're doing a day. Make sure that when you're eating less food, that you are still moving the exact same. When your body's in a deficit and it's losing body fat, it will try to preserve energy from wherever it can. And in some people, this can mean moving less and less. Most of us will move less automatically when we're dieting, but some people, maybe yourself, might move a little bit less than everybody else, which means burning even less calories than everyone else. So track your steps, because this is going to be a super easy way for you to stay on top of that, to know exactly how much you're moving a day, and to help you keep active and keep consistent so that you can consistently drop body fat. Now, beyond that, the other things that you need to make sure you're doing is tracking your food correctly and actually hitting your calorie targets. That means accounting for calories from things like oils, from things like coffees, lattes, cappuccinos, that kind of thing. Make sure you're accounting for any sugar, any drinks that you have, sauces and marinades, little things like that that are super easy to miss. If not tracked correctly, can be more than enough to tip you over your calories for the day. A latte can be 200 to 300 calories. If you're drinking these twice a day without even tracking or realizing, you're easily going to be going over your calorie target, which means you're not going to be losing body fat. So make sure you're tracking your steps and your expenditure. Make sure you're tracking your food correctly. Literally, if it goes in your mouth, it needs to be tracked. And then on top of that, make sure you're training consistently. If you're not heading to the gym 3 times a week for a full body session, training hard, aiming to get stronger, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the benefits that this will bring for fat loss, which is, over the long term, increased muscle mass, which will increase your BMR. So that slow metabolism that you've always blamed and you think that you might have, the more muscle you build, the more active tissue, the more live tissue you have, the higher your metabolism will be, because that live tissue needs to breathe, it needs to function, and that requires energy to do so. So you burn more calories every single day to do that. So training is a really good way of actually building muscle over time to help you increase your BMR. And then on top of that, eat more protein as well. If you're eating a high protein diet, you're not only going to build muscle tissue much easier, you're not only going to feel fuller for longer and find it easier to stick to a diet, but you're also going to be burning more calories through the thermic effect of eating. Now, this is the very smallest portion of that total daily energy expenditure chart that we spoke about. So we've got our BMR, we've got our NEAT, we've got our EAT, which is our exercise activity thermogenesis, calories we burn from cardio training. And then we've got our thermic effect of food, our TEF, or thermic effect of feeding. This is literally just the amount of calories you burn from digesting foods. And protein requires the most amount of calories to break down, chew, and digest. So the higher protein you eat, the more calories you burn. Now, you're never going to burn more calories from eating protein than you're getting from that protein in the first place. So you can't eat yourself into a calorie deficit. But what it can do when calories are equated, a higher protein diet can just help tip the balance in your favor a little bit more. So that is literally everything you need to do. If you are someone who has complained about slow metabolism, if you've got a mate who's complained about slow metabolism, guarantee you it's not that. First of all, look at what you're doing when you're dieting. Are you moving less? Are you doing less steps? Are you walking around the house less? Get an idea of what's going on there, set a target, hit your targets, and increase your targets over time if you need to. Then make sure you're tracking your calories accurately every single day. Make sure that you're training consistently, at least 3 times a week in the gym, and make sure that you're eating a nice high protein diet. If you can nail all those things to begin with, I guarantee you, if you follow that for a month, 2 months, you will get so much further with your progress than you ever have done before, and you'll probably realize that it isn't a slow metabolism to blame. It's potentially just been down to all these other things we've spoken about. So that is the very quick breakdown truth of a slow metabolism. And if you still think that you do suffer from a slow metabolism and that none of this applies to you, feel free to drop me a message. Feel free to ask questions. I am happy to have a chat with you about it. But the truth of it is, you probably don't. You've probably just been missing a few simple things that are going to make the biggest difference to your progress. So that is it for another week, another episode. Slow metabolism ticked off. You can no longer use this as an excuse. And if your mate tries to use this as an excuse, just lay this information on them. Send them a link to the video, get them to watch it, see what they think. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want some help putting all of these tips into action today, scroll down to below the video and there's a couple of links there where you can download my free 5-minute fat loss video, which is really short, quick fire videos of all the fat loss topics you need to know about. Some that we've mentioned today, like your BMR, like your nutrition, like your NEAT, everything you need to know, how to keep on top of them, and also how to plan these out for your own fat loss targets and for your own success. Go and click the link, download all that, you'll get a free guide to start putting it all into action and map out some specific nutrition targets for you. And if you want some help with your training, there's also my 12-week workout builder below as well. So you can use this to choose from 3, 4, or 5 session per week templates. You can choose the exercise you want from the drop-down menus provided. You'll get video demonstrations provided, and you'll even get a 12-week tracker where you can follow the sets and reps that are given to you and start tracking your progress for the next 12 weeks, and you'll be able to see exactly how much you're progressing in each lift and in each workout. Literally both of those are available for free right now. Go and steal them, make the most of them, have fun. And like I said at the start, if this video gave you a little light bulb moment and you thought, this is exactly me, this is what I need to be doing, click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, drop me a message, head to my Instagram, drop me a message, let me know what you thought about the video. And like I said, share it with your mates, send it to the one who always uses this as an excuse. With that being said, we'll wrap up there and I will see you in the next video.